If the United States were to lose its position as a world power, I can guarantee you whoever took control would be a whole lot worse than we would ever be. We can barely convince people to even pay attention to the midterms. How about paying attention to just the country as a whole? The United States of America is being sold out to the global elite. Think about our position right now. We're $31 trillion in debt. Inflation is through the roof. Our most crucial assets, food and energy, are going off the chart. The amount of money that's going to cost people to heat their homes this winter, imagine what's going to happen. Meanwhile, you have this looming financial crisis, the stocks in the tank, 401ks, IRAs, and interest rates being raised, obviously making homes less affordable. It's clear as day. People are just not going to be able to afford to buy new homes, let alone build new homes or pay the rent in the homes they already live in. Wait till people start losing their jobs. Even major technology firms that have never stopped hiring are slowing down and will soon lay people off. Meanwhile, we're getting entangled in a hot war with a nuclear power for the first time ever, and people barely even pay attention to the midterms in our own country. We're competing on a global stage. Don't people understand that? They're depleting our energy reserves, cutting production of more energy overseas. This pipeline. Meanwhile, all the citizenry are disenfranchised, looking at each other as the enemy. So disjointed. Ripe for manipulation. Ripe for takeover. But everybody's distracted. We're being sold out, and if you even try to sound the alarm, you get silenced. And that's how things become clear, all of the sudden. We're sending all this military assistance over to the Ukraine when what we really should be doing is reinforcing our own, or at the very least spending the money on our own people. The army, military came out with some fiscal strategy for the next 4 or 5 years, I think yesterday, and one of the priorities is climate stuff. Electric planes, sustainable bases and whatnot. Hot war. Nuclear power, but whatever. And what, we have politicians on both sides of the aisle totally cool with sending money over to Zelensky? Oh, he's brave. He's in the middle of a war. That's why he's stopping for Vogue photo shoots with his wife. Visiting with Ben Stiller. But he's a hero, guys. Don't question it. Flag in bio. But this dude is obviously corrupt in one of the most corrupt countries on the entire planet. Silencing other political parties, taking control of the media. But hey, who cares about that? Who cares who was involved with this country going back to, I don't know, when Joey Basement was the VP? Who cares about the relationship Hunty had? None of that stuff apparently matters. But our major corporations are going and supposedly, investing money there now? They ring the stock market bell? They have the largest advertising firm in the world shilling for them? Invest here. What? You guys are in something right now, but now they're going to invest? Great opportunities are there? But nobody's even paying attention. They'll put a surgical diaper on their child's face because the television told them so. Of course they're not going to realize that we're in this fiscal global calamity. And they won't even pay attention to what's happening in their own city. People can't even figure out how to elect good leaders in their own city. Once great American cities are falling into disrepair like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, New Orleans. Crime off the chart, homelessness, ODs, and so much else. Yet people just keep voting blue, not even understanding the consequences of their own actions on their own doorstep. Their only solution is to leave, and you're seeing them do that. Yet these once great American powerhouses just fall to disrepair. You got a beautiful city like Chicago run by Lori Lightfoot, making TikTok videos while crime is off the chart, and then running for re-election? You got the police backing supposed mayor of New York City, and the crime there is crazy. You got Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. This guy's supposed to run for president. He's supposed to be a leader. Los Angeles is disgusting. Don't even get me started on San Francisco. Meanwhile, the prices are off the charts, the taxes. And people want to re-elect this guy. They want to elect him to run the free world. And the media's bought and paid for, in the bag, more than obvious. Shilling for the establishment, for the global elites forever, and people can't even see it. They just turn on the TV and nod in agreement and choose more of it. It's so obvious. But what's the focus of the day? Oh, Kanye's wearing a t-shirt. Total distraction, total mind control. Everybody's getting bamboozled, and they can't even see it. Whether we like it or not, America is on a ship together, and we are sinking. The supposed leader of the free world is embarrassing to watch. Imagine if you were playing a football game and the coach of the opposing team was doing what Joe is doing. Wouldn't you be like, oh, we're gonna win? This dude can barely keep it together. It's not even a political thing. It's just obvious. Forget the policies for a second and just look at the guy. And then you have Kamala Krusty, not qualified at all. What's the last thing she did of any significance? And then the news pundits, oh, it's Fox, it's this, it's CNN, it's just this back and forth distraction. Meanwhile, the country's overweight, has no understanding of food at all. filled up with medicines and drugs from the big pharmaceutical companies that make money at their perpetual sickness. Weak, being told that they can do whatever they want with their gendy, they can choose this or that, coming for the kids and no one even cares. Indoctrinating them in schools, but whatever, look the other way. The other guy's bad, the other guy's evil. Constantly relinquishing all of our powers and our rights and our freedoms over to these talking heads that are supposedly our leaders that just sell us out at the earliest convenience and then beg for re-election, and people just don't even pay attention. The ones that do pay attention will watch and be like, this is too dark, and they'll just check out completely. Most people have no understanding of money, have no money saved for a rainy day. They don't even understand water and where it comes from. They don't even understand what's the difference between good water and bad water. Water! Don't even start on food. There should be a gym and a yoga studio on every corner, a bike path on every street, kayaks and paddleboards for rent, health food on every corner, jobs in abundance, money in abundance, open outdoor spaces, people that are consuming sun and are happy. But it's all just this huge distraction, all just this huge trap. And now they're just eroding away the value of the money in your own pocket, in your own bank account, and people are just like in space, totally not even aware of what's even happening. If the U.S. loses control, if the freedoms that the United States has are gone, what do you think is going to replace it? You think they're going to be nicer than we've been? And it's not to say that we're not without fault, but I can guarantee you it would be a lot worse. Because after us, there is nothing left. There is no other free people. There is no more speech if the U.S. falls. That's it. That's the end of speech. And the money, forget about it. But the global elites, the people that are really in charge, the multinational corporations, the financial institutions that run and control the entire planet, they are firmly in control. Our own establishment, our own government, the thing that's supposed to represent us, is in the bag with them. They control them financially. They enrich themselves financially through those elites, through those institutions. It's all entangled. The only real remaining hope is the people, yet the people just remain perpetually distracted by those exact same institutions that monetize the fact that we're not paying attention. And it just makes you wonder, what do people need to happen in order to care, in order to be more concerned, in order to speak up about it at the very least? It's like they're making the food more expensive, they're making you unhealthy through the water, through the medicine, people getting clapped, losing their life at every turn, disease, and forget whatever else, the border. Your money is getting eroded right out of your pocket. People losing their careers over what? Over what the pharmaceutical companies tell you needs to happen? They're all getting rich. The money's not disappearing. It's going somewhere. And we're depleting our emergency energy reserves before the winter while this whole calamity is happening. Natural disasters too. What do you think happens if we run out of oil? And if, again, the food is such a huge threat as well. A major American city loses water. What was that, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Do people even have water? Does the average American citizen have a store of food and water? The most basic fundamental element and building block of life? Does the average American citizen have the ability to protect themselves? Because there's a lot of places where you're not allowed to. Talk about being vulnerable. I mean, it's clear as day. This is a multi-decade, multi-century perhaps plan. End the dominance of the West, end the dominance of the free people of Earth, end the last bastion of freedom that exists on the planet. Complete takeover in perpetuity, maybe forever. But it all just comes back to one of my favorite quotes. That's how things become clear, all of the sudden, and then you realize how obvious they've been all along. Financial distress, global calamity, a divided people, tons of debt, no production, no manufacturing here. Depleted oil reserves, depleted energy, a depleted military, focusing on things like sustainability for army bases. We are being set up and sold out. But obviously, like any opposition would want, it's not going to be clear that you've been got until it's too late. So when do you start paying attention? When do you begin to prepare? When does anybody feel like the alarm bells are sounded? Does anybody even know where that line even is? And what can people that see it do? What do they have? The only place they have is on the town square of the internet to voice their opinion, participate in their local elections or whatever else, try to spread the word, try to share it with the people that they know, love, and care about, protect themselves. But when they want to give back to the rest of humanity, the rest of the world or whatever, and speak out about it, well, you can't do that. They can just take that away from you. So we're in this unique window of time between now and the supposed midterm selections where a lot of this stuff could really lock into gear. And it's coming up and people are still just not paying attention. Because if something doesn't happen by these midterms, if some change, some shift in the power structure, at least a little bit doesn't happen, what's next? It's so tempting sometimes to just throw in the towel and live your life. But there's that itching reminder of, had the other people before us done that, we'd have absolutely nothing right now. So I, like so many of you, will continue to try to voice it, continue to try to make preparations, continue to try to spread the word. It is a cruel and unusual world, though it is filled with lots of light. And though I do think we win in the end, I certainly hope we start winning a whole lot sooner. And if people don't pay attention, if they can't see it in a digestible, entertaining 1-minute nugget, if that's not enough to wake them up, or the conversations that all of us have on a daily basis, it's hopeless. Now, I do think that we will persevere. I do remain optimistic. But it's all those people in the middle. It's all those people on the fence. It's all those people whose opinion can be swayed, that maybe are sort of in, but not completely in. Those people need to pay attention. They need to wake up. Because it's the left and it's the right and it's red and it's blue until it's not. Until it's America v. everyone else. And I don't mean everyone else like other nations. I mean everyone else like the global elites that are trying to make us no longer exist. America as we know it does not necessarily need to last beyond our generation or even through our generation, especially if we don't pay more attention and fight to protect it.